Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today into men's mental health.
It's a big one,
It is.
a really important one.
Absolutely. And, I think a lot of our listeners are probably interested in learning more about the unique challenges
Definitely,
that
definitely.
men face when it comes to mental health.
Yeah, and I think the research is really clear that, men, they struggle with things like depression, anxiety,
Right.
substance abuse, just like anyone else.
Yeah.
But there are some things that kind of get in the way for them seeking help.
Yeah, it seems like societal expectations play a big role, almost like
Well, huge.
an invisible barrier.
Definitely.
So let's start with depression.
Okay.
I mean, we know it affects millions of people.
Yeah.
But it seems like men don't always experience it in the same way women do.
Right, and that's a really important point to bring up. W- we often think of depression as like sadness
Right.
and withdrawal, but for men, it can look really different.
How so?
Well, they might be more likely to experience it as anger,
Oh, interesting.
irritability, or even engaging in risky behaviors.
Oh, wow. So it's almost like they're masking madness.
Exactly. It's like channeling it into something else.
Yeah, almost like those classic movie tropes, the strong, silent type who bottles everything up.
Absolutely. Yeah, the lone wolf.
Yeah, and then throws himself into dangerous situations.
Exactly. It's like they're almost playing a role.
Right. But why wouldn't they just, admit they're feeling down?
Well, think about it from a young age.
Okay.
Boys are often told to toughen up, be a man, don't cry.
Right. Yeah, boys don't cry.
Exactly. And those messages, they really stick with them.
And it's not just like, dads or coaches saying it.
Right.
It's like it's everywhere.
It's pervasive. It's in the media.
Yeah, it's in movies.
Yeah,
It's in the way we talk about, strength and masculinity.
absolutely. And over time, it creates this belief that vulnerability is weakness.
So they learn to hide their true feelings,
Yeah.
even from themselves.
It becomes almost an automatic response.
Wow, and that's got to be so dangerous.
It is because if they don't recognize they're depressed,
Yeah.
they're not going to seek help.
Right, and the sources pointed out some pretty alarming statistics about men and suicide,
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Men are far more likely to die by suicide than women.
which really underscores the urgency of addressing this,
Right,
right?
absolutely.
And it's not just depression.
Right.
It seems like this pressure to be strong can also fuel anxiety.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, imagine the constant pressure
Yeah.
to be the provider, the protector, the rock.
It's a lot of weight to carry.
It is, and to never show any weakness.
Right, so they end up bottling up their worries and fears.
Exactly, and it can manifest in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, one of the sources talked about how anxiety in men can sometimes show up physically,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
like headaches or digestive issues.
Absolutely, and that can make it even harder to recognize.
Right, because they might just think they have a headache
Ex-
and not realize it's tied to this underlying anxiety.
They might be treating the symptoms, but not the root cause.
Wow, so they're popping antacids when they should be, talking to a therapist.
It's a classic example of how these things can get overlooked.
And with all this pressure to appear strong and hide their anxiety,
Yeah,
it's not surprising that many men turn to substances to cope.
right. It makes sense.
The sources talked about how men are more likely to misuse alcohol or drugs.
And it's understandable in a way.
Yeah.
If you're feeling trapped, if you don't have healthy outlets for your emotions,
Yeah.
substances can seem like a quick fix.
Yeah, they numb the pain.
Exactly. But of course,
It's only temporary.
it's a temporary solution, and it often creates more problems in the long run.
Right, so it's this vicious cycle
Definitely.
of trying to cope in unhealthy ways
And it highlights how crucial it is to break down those stereotypes
about masculinity.
about what it means to be a man.
So what can we do? How do we create a space where men feel safe talking about their mental health?
I think it starts with small changes, like
Okay.
challenging those outdated notions of masculinity.
Right, like the idea that vulnerability is weakness.
Exactly. We need to encourage open conversations about mental health.
Yeah, let the men in our lives know it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. And when someone does reach out,
Yeah,
we need to listen without judgment.
and offer support.
Absolutely. And sometimes just asking how they're really doing can
Yeah.
make a huge difference.
So I think the big takeaway here is that we need to recognize the unique ways mental health issues
Yeah,
manifest in men.
definitely.
It's not about making excuses,
No.
but it's about understanding the challenges.
and creating a more supportive environment.
Exactly. So think about the men in your life, your brother, your dad, your friends.
Yeah.
Reach out to them, check in on them, let them know you're there for them.
It could make all the difference.
That's some great advice.
Thanks.
And all our listeners, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Keep the conversation going, and we'll see you next time.
See you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye, you fess.